Will is in here, our resident Notre Dame fan. Thanks for being in here, buddy. He said, "Are y'all more confident in the receivers or special teams?"
That's a good question. I think I'm definitely. I mean, okay, well, I had an answer, but then when I gave it some thought because special teams is more than just kicking and punting, returning and all of that. So, um, we still. I think the fact that we still don't really know about kicker kind of makes it, a little bit of a where it's kind of an incomplete right now as far as how I feel about the special teams because kicking was such a big reason why they struggled. Uh, well, it wasn't the only. Certainly was far from the only reason, but it was a big reason for why they struggled last year. I think it's got to be the receivers. I just think I mean you have more proven commodities. I mean I've talked about Antonio Williams, how high I am on him. Tyler Brown, obviously true freshman, All American last year. Talked about the freshman wide receivers that are coming in, the return of experienced guys in Adam Randall and Troy Stellato. You get Cole Turner back from injury. Like I think there's a lot more there. And then you still and you guys and then we haven't talked about Noble Johnson and Ronan Hannafin a bunch, but I'm interested to see how they progress in fall as well. So yeah, I'm really excited about this receiver room. I put out a tweet yesterday. I was like, I'm ready to be hurt again. But I'm super bullish about the wide receiver room. So I mean, I think that's got to be my answer.
All right, next question from Tiggs here. Has Robert Gunn improved any? Any word
I
on Robert Gunn early returns from fall camp, Jordan?
I didn't get I believe he made his most of his field goals yesterday. On the first day. I didn't hear anything specifically about him. I hope he has. Nolan Hooser, I heard, did not have a great day. So that was something to kind of he kind of struggled beyond 30. So that's not great. But um, as far as Robert Gunn is concerned, I mean, I think right now it seems like he has a leg up. So I think that's about all I know as far as that's concerned. I believe that he's in a better headspace because I think last year he dealt with some things that affected him mentally. During games that I think he's worked through in the off season, but you know, time will tell. You didn't bring anybody out of the portal or anything like that. You brought in the true freshman, number one or number two kicker, but you don't know until you see it at this point, and they don't really, when when these practice reports come out and stuff, like they don't really spend a whole lot of time talking about the kickers, and
Yeah,
for good reason, there are more pertinent position groups to talk about, but it's
yeah.
just something
Jay
to monitor.
said Gunn was 4 of 5 today, and Huser was 5 of 5 today. Apparently,
Okay.
Gunn struggled yesterday though, so um, we'll see. We'll see how they shape up. They just one of them has to take that next step and become that consistent guy. I mean, that's really gonna be what goes into the decision of who's gonna run out there first. It's gonna be the guy that becomes more consistent at putting it through the uprights. All right, last two questions I'm gonna take here, and then we're gonna get out of here, Jordan. Um, do y'all think Brown's usage will increase after a good freshman year or decrease with all the receivers healthy?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a very good question. I think the only answer is a decrease in usage, but I do think that it. I think when he gets opportunities, they will be. I mean, I think he's still going to get plenty of opportunities, but I think because you get Cole Turner back and Troy Salato's healthy, and you hope Adam Randall's healthy. Like I think they're going to want to get into them on the field and get them opportunities as well. Um, and with Antonio, and of course Antonio Williams, being healthy, like I think his usage can only go down. There's only so many targets, and I don't expect Cade to throw the ball as much as he did last year. Because I think that's one thing that people don't realize is Cade had more pass attempts than anybody in the ACC last year. Like that, he threw the ball entirely too much.
It's not good.
That's not what Garrett Riley's offense is supposed to be. So, as many targets as Tyler Brown got last year, a lot of that. I mean, of course, it was him being good. It was also, they threw the ball a ton, and they ran a lot of plays, and that was not really what they were expecting coming into the year. So, yeah, I mean, usage-wise, it's going to go down, but I do think that when he gets his opportunity, like the explosive, like, some of the more advanced metrics like explosive play rate and stuff like that, I do think he's going to factor into that a ton, and he's still going to get his fair share of opportunities because he's too good not to play. He's just he showed out for a reason, not just because guys were hurt. It's because he came in as a summer enrollee and was already one of your best. So I mean, I think he's going to have assuming he stays healthy, I think he'll be able to build on his freshman campaign.
Absolutely. All right, last question here, and then we're going to get out of here for tonight. Thank you guys so much for being here. Do you think Cade will play a larger part in the run game this year? Can he be that run threat in the red zone?
Yeah, that was something that they were trying to when they were talking to Garrett Riley, the media, they talked about that with him a little bit during media days last week. That was something they had mentioned. I think so. Especially since you don't really have a 1A, 1B situation at running back. Yeah, I think you have your RB1 and there's a gap, no matter who you put there. I think Cade is going to factor in more, and we've talked about his weight gain and all that. I think that's going to make the coaching staff and Garrett Riley more comfortable putting him in those situations, and I think that's going to open things up because things were working well, not just. I mean, throughout Clemson's run, and even when DJ was the quarterback, when the quarterback run game was successful, a lot of other aspects of the offense were successful. Even in 2022, when DJ was running the ball well, the offense looked a lot more comfortable, and teams weren't teeing off on them and on the offensive line, and it opened things up for Will Shipley and Phil Maffa. As much as the 2022 offense was frustrating at times, that was one thing that they did really, really well. And they were able to generate a really consistent run game because of that. And if Cade can be that level, not used in the same way as DJ, he's not going to be a battering ram. He's not that big, but he's going to offer, it's going to be more like what it was, the run game was under like Deshaun Watson. Like where you get him on draws and get him to beat an edge to the outside because he does have the speed to do that, like that kind of sort of thing. But then he's able to take hits when necessary. So I think I think I would be surprised if he didn't factor into the run game more than he did last year.